encompassing punk, new wave, and rock, while also spawning subgenres like grunge and Britpop. It went from an indie genre to one of the most popular types of music in the 1990s and beyond. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 alternative bands of all time. For this list, we've chosen influential artists who helped define the alternative sound and genre throughout the decades, who were commercially successful, and whose music stood the test of time. This is part of a series of videos spanning the decades of alternative rock music from the 1970s to the 2000s, and includes our list of the top 10 alternative bands of the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s, as well as the top 10 punk bands and the top 10 grunge bands. Number 10. Talking Heads. They may have only been together for 16 years, but this New York band managed to become one of the biggest influences ever on subsequent alternative rock acts. Formed in 1975, the Talking Heads managed to hit the mainstream while still maintaining their street cred with critics during the 1980s. Their brand of new wave incorporated elements of punk, funk, and world music, but still had enough pop sensibility to earn them top 10 singles and a place on our list. Number 9. The White Stripes. We started living in an old house. Mama gave birth and we were checking it out. After getting the Detroit scene buzzing with their first 3 discs, the White Stripes went from indie garage rockers to one of the most well-known alternative rock acts of the early 21st century. And all they needed was a little song called Fell in Love with a Girl. After that breakthrough track, the duo made their major label debut with Elephant and unleashed one of the most memorable and successful alternative rock songs of the 2000s. Though they've since called it quits, there's no denying they knew exactly how to get us going with their fusion of garage, punk, and blues rock. Number 8. Pearl Jam. With a grunge lineage consisting of Green River, Mother Love Bone, and Temple of the Dog, it's no wonder Pearl Jam became one of the alternative rock subgenre's biggest acts. However, Pearl Jam did this via their own merits, which included memorable hooks and choruses, as well as socio-politically driven lyrics. They cemented themselves as one of the big 4 thanks to their classic and punk rock inspired sound, as well as Eddie Vedder's often imitated but never duplicated growl. Decades after 10's breakthrough success, Pearl Jam is still enjoying popularity. Number 7. Depeche Mode. Spearheading the electronic side of alternative rock, Depeche Mode broke onto the music scene in 1981 with Speak and Spell. Despite the departure of Vince Clarke, the group bounced back with a darker sound that captivated teens everywhere and helped the band infiltrate the mainstream. More lineup changes ensued, but the Brits didn't let that stop them. They've since sold over 100 million albums, won multiple Grammys, and are still going strong today. 6. The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Where I go, I just don't know. Like gotta take it slow.
These alternative rockers integrate funk, hard rock, and psychedelic rock into their style, and that's exactly what makes them both unique and long-lasting.
Goodness me, can't you see I'm gonna go fit? Give it away, give it away, give it away now. Give it away, give it away, give it away now.
After several years of taking the indie route, the Chili Peppers hit it big in the early 90s. The music world soon took a liking to the band's fusion of styles and evolving sound, which allowed them to find chart and commercial success with albums like Californication and Stadium Arcadium in the new millennium. Number 5. R.E.M. Formed in the 1980s, these guys from Georgia made a name for themselves with their very first album. With the help of Michael Stipe's hard-to-decipher singing and Peter Buck's distinctive guitar style, R.E.M. had critics raving, while college radio had their backs early on. Extensive touring and a top 10 hit in 1987 soon landed them a major label deal and solidified their status as one of the originators of the genre.
This one goes out to the one I love.
Though they broke up in 2011, R.E.M.'s alt-rock legacy lives on.
Had my fun, now it's time to serve your conscience overseas, coming in fast over me.
Number 4. The Clash.
London calling through the faraway towns. Now war is declared and battle come down.
As part of the original wave of British punk, The Clash was known for their angsty, dirty vibe and socio-politically charged lyrics. After spreading their musical message on tour, the idealistic musicians struck a chord with Americans by experimenting with genres on London Calling and combat rock. Their strong songwriting, musical passion, and fearlessness helped The Clash map out the sound of punk rock for decades, and it inspired countless artists to come. Is it any wonder they were dubbed the only band that matters? Number 3. The Cure.
I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's grey, and Wednesday too.
Founded in 1976, The Cure first found a home during that decade within the post-punk and new wave movements. The 80s saw the English group's sound take a darker turn, and they found themselves categorized as gothic rock. They soon made way for lighter, more radio-friendly fare, which paved the way for the band to take over the airwaves in the early 90s and helped them nab multiple Billboard Hot 100 entries. By gaining popularity right before alt-rock hit it big, The Cure helped set the stage for the genre's imminent explosion and solidified their place in music history. Number 2. Radiohead.
But I'm a creep.
After making waves with their first 2 alternative rock efforts, Radiohead proved they weren't a one-note band with the more complex sound and abstract themes of OK Computer. This cleared the path for the Brits to branch out to other genres, and they soon achieved international critical and commercial success. Today, Radiohead continues to be one of the most highly regarded acts in years due to their consistently original and innovative music.
This is what you get when you mess with love.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
I am human and I need to belong, just like everybody else does. Rock, 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 repeat. Rock, 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 repeat. Rock, 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 repeat. We can interact to rock, repeat. Shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I can do without. Come on. Welcome to paradise. I don't wanna. I don't think so. I don't wanna. I don't think so. My mom and dad went to a show. They dropped me off at Grand.
Number 1. Nirvana.
I kick and scream, so please. Grandma, take me home. Grandma, take me home.
Though drummer Dave Grohl went on to lead one of the most accessible alt-rock acts of modern times, the Foo Fighters never would have achieved the success they have today without his former band. For alternative rock and music in general were never the same after Nirvana burst onto the scene.
I couldn't show my makeup good.
Thanks to Nevermind's incomparable success and the band's blend of heavy music with pop tendencies, Nirvana brought the Seattle sound to the masses and became leaders of grunge's Big Four in the process.
When I swear that I don't have a gun.
When it's all said and done, no other musician spoke to a generation quite like Nirvana and Kurt Cobain. Do you agree with our list? What's your favorite alternative rock act? For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.